All right, I'm trying to find some consistency with these again. I've actually had a really busy last couple of weeks, been very blessed with some opportunities that have kept my days really full. But I thought I would pop in and just kind of pick a topic and see where it goes. So this is definitely not pre-planned, and we'll see what happens. But something that I had been thinking about after talking to a friend last night and after talking to my mom was that a lot of us do a ton of stuff that we don't want to do. And sometimes you need to do things that you don't necessarily enjoy doing because they're necessary for your job or they're a prerequisite for some goal that you're trying to achieve, or they may lead to opportunities in the future, and those are okay, and we're going to have to do those sometimes, and we're going to have to suck it up, and they'll probably not be as bad as we thought they were going to be. At least that's what I normally find. But then again, a lot of us do a ton of shit that we don't want to do, and it really doesn't serve us. And so I think for myself, I had to really start taking inventory in my life and look at the things that I was doing and every place that I was spending my energy and resources and all these things that I was giving myself to that weren't necessarily filling me up or leading to something else. And I had to take some of those things out. And at first it feels like you're being selfish, but I think that society has kind of given us a misconstrued idea of selfishness, and you don't have to be entirely selfless all the time in order to not be selfish. There's definitely a middle ground to be found where you're still upholding your self-worth and considering your own needs, and all while still not being selfish. There's definitely a middle ground where you can be unselfish and still be self-full in the sense that you are taking into account your own needs and your own desires and what is going to best serve you because you are a valuable human being as well. And it's a noble endeavor to go out seeking to please others. We kind of can lose ourselves in that as well, and it can lead to some negative things, but there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to please people, and I think a lot of us call ourselves people pleasers and we fall into this trap, but there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to do that. Of course, we want to get the approval of those around us because it helps us to feel seen, but it also helps us feel like we're doing good because we are doing things that are helping other people to feel good, and that feels like creating good in the world. And so there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to do that. There's just something wrong with sacrificing yourself or sacrificing your own well-being in the process of doing it. And if you go too far to one end of that spectrum in people pleasing or in doing things for other people or doing things because you feel like you should, then you're really not serving yourself. And I think we lose sometimes our own self-worth in that, and taking into account like, I'm a valuable human being and I am worthy of feeling my best and being able to put my best self forward, and maybe all the things that I'm giving my time to and giving my energy to aren't allowing me to do that. Like, am I overscheduling myself, overcommitting myself to the point where I'm not able to show up and put my best self forward into all of these projects? And that's not how we want to be. We want to be able to go with full energy and lots of passion and creativity and ideas and liveliness. We want to be able to bring all of those things into our daily activities, into our work, into our recreations, our hobbies, into even just spending time with people. We want to be able to bring our whole selves to that table. And if we're draining ourselves doing all these things that aren't even serving us, then we're just wasting our energy. And we only have a certain supply of it. Willpower wanes throughout the day, and we need to be sometimes, I think, more selective about how we use it. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that in your pursuit to not be selfish, make sure that you are not losing yourself or losing your sense of self-worth. And I think this does kind of play into that idea of self-love and just self-respect and self-care that we are starting to talk about more. And I think that's really awesome. I see people talking about making that a priority more, because I do think that that's very important. And especially if you're a very driven, motivated person, or you, like I said, are a people pleaser, or just type A or things like that, you're probably more susceptible to overcommitting yourself in ways that will just end up leaving you feeling unfulfilled and yet so busy. And we have to just realize that busy does not equal happy, busy does not equal fulfilled, busy does not even necessarily equal productive. So I have to do this for myself too, and I'm definitely not perfect with this. I definitely am still trying to find my right middle ground, and I think that that changes as life seasons change. But I think it definitely is important for us to take a step back and take inventory of how we're dividing our lives, how many different buckets we're putting ourselves into, and seeing if maybe we need to cut some of those out in order to better serve ourselves so that we can better serve those around us. So, yeah, there's my ramble for today, and hopefully I'll have a more cohesive, organized video up next. But yeah, I love you guys. I hope you guys had a lovely Thanksgiving. I was not with my family, but I was with some friends. A little Friendsgiving is always nice, and I'll see you guys soon.